Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of video games. We cover all kinds from the mainstream to the indie, so I hope you enjoy your stay, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. When the Warrior of Light and his crew get to the island, they find Tao and the Blasphemy, and the thing is humongous. Everyone gets ready to fight, but things go sideways when the Echo starts to take over the Warrior of Light. He tries to fight it off, but he can't, so while he's trapped in a vision, the others try to keep him alive. He sees Tao talking to the Sahagins' former matriarch, telling her how a lot of her people are starting to work with the Lamentsons. It's almost time for her to produce the next generation of Sahagin. But that can't happen if her people are divided, and when more of her people come in telling her that it's time to stop worshipping Leviathan and move into a new era, she's almost convinced that she might need to support the change. But Tao's words makes her second guess herself, and that makes her turn into the giant Blasphemy. The vision ends and the Warrior of Light wakes up just in time for the creature to hit the entire group with an attack that paralyzes them all. It gets ready to hit you all again, and since you can't exactly block it, you'd all definitely die if the attack goes off. Fortunately, someone interrupts it, which gives the company of heroes time to drop a smoke bomb so you can all run away. No one is happy about the fact that you all got spanked by the monster, but the fact that the thing was able to paralyze you all made the outcome of the fight make sense. The Warrior of Light did find out where the creature came from, and when he shares the information, Noel gets even angrier at Tao for making their queen turn into a monster. That's gonna complicate things, because if you do kill the Blasphemy, you'll be killing the Sahagins' queen. Noel and the other Sahagin won't be able to bring themselves to fight her, but that's a problem for another day. The thing the company wants to figure out first is who fired the gunshot that gave you all the chance to escape. They don't have an answer for that either, but the Admiral says that you all have another problem. The Blasphemy has left the island, and it's out in the open sea now, so there's no telling when it will start attacking people. Merlewip's gonna keep her people searching for it, but if you don't find a way to stop its attack, the next time you find it won't be any different from the last. Wisecat thinks he'll be able to figure something out. The company of heroes has a pretty good track record when it comes to finding enemies' weaknesses, and since you've seen that the Blasphemy can absorb ether, they have something to work with. There's a lot of work left to do, and the Admiral figures that getting a little more help wouldn't hurt. She thinks she may be able to track down the company's former commander, so she's gonna try something. After everyone recovers from their beating, the Warrior of Light gets a call from Wisecat, who has an idea about how to take down the monster, so he heads over to Costa del Sol to see what the man's got to say. Wisecat actually hasn't figured out a way to deal with the Blasphemy, but he figures that if you could get their old commander to join in the fight, he might be able to figure out a way to do it. He was the reason the company had been able to take down Leviathan and Titan. The problem is he was kind of crazy and weird. He liked to work from the shadows, which is why he hasn't been seen since the company disbanded. But Wisecat is pretty sure that the man's been watching them. That doesn't mean he'll help them out though. But if you gave him an order as the company's new commander, then he might. In the old days, if they whistled at the fork in the road to the north of Costa del Sol, the commander would show up, eventually. Since it's worth a try, the Warrior of Light does it, and Lawrence actually does show up. He knows who you are, since most people do, and he's been watching his old team. He is a little surprised that so many people have decided to look for him after all of these years. He already figured that you want him to help with the Blasphemy, and since his specialty is supporting shooting people from very far away, he'll be a great addition to the team. Since Lawrence knows a lot about you and you know absolutely nothing about him, he decides to tell you a little bit about his story. Back in the old pirate days, the League of Lost Bastards were the top dogs, and both he and Merlewip were a part of that crew, serving under Merlewip's dad Blowfist. They were all very close, so he was there when Blowfist saved them from Leviathan and got tempered and forced Merlewip to kill him. Not long after that, Merlewip became the Admiral and changed the way things were done in Lenosha. And Lawrence made it a point to help her, in secret of course. He told you all of that to let you know that he appreciates what you're doing, and he'll be there to help you when you need him. Wisecat's glad to hear that, but he thinks it'll be a good idea to not tell the rest of the company, mainly because Landonil may try to stab Lawrence if he sees him. Since that's been taken care of, what's left is to lead the Blasphemy somewhere else where you can deal with it. Finding the thing doesn't take long. Since it was the Sahagin queen, Rio, someone who's always been helping out the Scions, watched the spawning grounds and saw that the creature was moving around underwater, so he had the Maelstrom use their ships and some cannonballs to lure the creature to Sestasha. That's a good place to fight it since it's far enough away from the city to avoid drawing innocent people into the fight. The company's excited for their rematch, and Merlewip definitely won't let you all fight alone, so you all meet up outside of the Drowning Wench to get ready. Noel apologizes for the fact that his people won't be able to bring themselves to fight the monster since it used to be their mother, but he doesn't blame any of you for doing what needs to be done. A call comes in from Rio saying that the Crushing Tide are heading to Sastasha, which means it's time for you all to head over there. The Crushing Tide beats you all there, but you make it just in time to see Dao realize that you can't work with the blasphemy, since once it changes, the person that it used to be is completely gone. He learns that lesson when the thing stomps him to death. It does drive the point home for the other Sahagin, who finally realize that the whole blasphemy transformation thing is not in fact a good thing. After seeing that, they want to help you fight it, but since Merlewip knows how hard it is to have to put down a corrupted parent, she sends them away so you all can deal with it yourselves. The good thing is Lawrence keeps his word and shows up, and he did figure out how to deal with the blasphemy's paralysis technique. Once he shows the Warrior of Light and Merlewip how to do it, it finally gives you a fighting chance against the creature. It apparently has a whole lot of other techniques, including calling on other blasphemies to join in the fight. The rest of the company of heroes show up to help even out the playing field, but even all of you together aren't enough. It's not until the rest of the Sahagins show up with a few of their siege engines do you finally all put an end to the monster. After seeing how strong Merlewip and the others actually are, the Crushing Tide members realize that at any moment the Lamensons could have just wiped them out. They don't understand why she didn't just solve her problem that way. She hadn't, for the simple reason that she wants their people to work together. And even though Dao didn't believe her, she really does mean it. As more proof, she tells them that whenever they choose their next queen and find a spot of land that will work as a good spot to raise their young, the people of Lamensa will make sure that no one invades their territory. Of course, there will be a bit of paperwork and negotiating involved, but since the kobolds are already on board, it shouldn't be too hard to iron out the details. At the very least, the Sahagin are willing to try. While that was being taken care of, Lawrence tries to sneak off, but his former comrades aren't letting him wander off this time and they drag him back to Limsa with the rest of you. They're all pretty mad at him for not joining in the fight earlier, but he points out that if he had, Landonil at least would have been upset that he interfered. The man admits that he was going to be mad regardless since Lawrence had disappeared right when the two of them were supposed to have a duel. The truth is, Lawrence didn't actually plan on showing up late or missing out on their duel. He just has a very bad sense of direction. He had actually showed up for the duel, but it took him 6 days to find the spot. Landonil wants to have the duel right then and there since he finally has the man in front of him. But if he started a fight in the middle of the city, I'm pretty sure that Merlewip would have shot him. Either way, their work is done, so the company of heroes disbands yet again, and the Admiral heads off to get back to her job of guiding her people to the future, while the Warrior of Light heads back to Razad Han to let the delegate know that the situation's been dealt with, and things are safe, for now. This concludes the story of Endwalker's physical DPS questline. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.